Welcome, everyone. It's so good to see all your faces. You all just came on at once. It's 11:02, so we're gonna get kicking. We're gonna get started. If I didn't name you already, I just want to say welcome. It's so good to see your faces, your names, and you have arrived at Trust, Trauma, and Trying Again, the 2-day online immersion that I'm so excited to begin. You're all here. You made it. This is the hardest part, honestly, just carving out the precious time to show up for yourself, to say, I'm worthy of the shift, I'm worthy of the support, I'm worthy of the success. So, seriously, congratulations, every single one of you on arriving. Now would be a good time to adjust your crown, do a little hair flip, hand over heart, whatever your vibe is, because seriously, look where you've planted yourself. You may not know any other woman on this call, or maybe you're a veteran in my world, but either way, I want you to know that you've decided to step into a room of women, and some amazing men might be trickling on, so I've heard, but shout out to you. But a room of women that are so unbelievably gifted, heart-centered, high vibing, just authentic individuals committed to their growth and success. So that's who you're hanging out with for the next 2 days, and I invite you to immerse yourself into this experience, into this space, and into this group as much as you have capacity for, as much as you feel safe to, because what you put into this is what you're going to get out of it. This is both a come as you are room as well as a let's meet our unique edges and see how much we can stretch ourselves type of room without overstraining our muscles. So over the next few days, I'm going to offer you 3 major keys that when implemented will inevitably shift your life and your relationship exponentially. Key number 1 is going to be the real secret behind trust. Why rebuilding it starts with your ability to trust yourself and reconnect with your own intuition more than anyone else's behavior. Key number 2 is why most trust repair methods fail, how mainstream modalities and approaches do keep couples more often than not stuck in trauma and resentment, and why somatic work is essential when trust has been ruptured by betrayal, abandonment, addiction, abuse, or emotional unavailability. And the last key is going to be practical tools, actionable steps and strategies you can use immediately to begin repairing trust in your own relationship, no matter how complex you think your trauma is or how desperate your situation feels. So I can't wait for all the feedback over the next couple of days as I walk you through some of the most powerful life and relationship shifts you've ever experienced. I want you to know that I'm not here to contribute to the noise around relationship hacks and healing and what type of potions magically save your marriage. Raise your hand if you've already been bombarded enough with that in your algorithm. Yeah, I'm also not here with an agenda on your relationship status, which might sound weird as a marriage coach. But what I care about more than anything is that you develop such a deep, unshakable, trusting relationship with yourself, your body, and your spirit that it becomes inevitable that you attract the relationships that are saturated in trust and repel anyone or any behavior that is frankly not worth your trust. So I tell my clients probably weekly, and they're probably sick of me saying this, but when you do this healing on this level, when you experience this, you're either going to call your partner up or you're going to call him out. But either way, you win because you stop abandoning yourself. If we have not met before, I'm Becky Oste, and I've been studying in the School of Relationships for as long back as I can remember. I remember being in preschool putting on stretchy tight pants because I wanted Bryant, my crush, to see my butt. Preschool. Always been obsessed, with the Disney movies, reality dating shows. It's my guilty pleasure to analyze their attachment styles and guess who's going to make it in the end. But I've got a lifetime of stories of personal trial and error, emphasis on the error. And I like to quote Niels Bohr here, who says, expert is a person who has made all the mistakes that can be made in a very narrow field. So by that definition, I have become an expert in the field of human connection and communication. And what I teach about trust is not trust as you know it. Trust today is about talking it out in detail, tracking his location, forcing your partner into therapy, ultimatums, manipulative control disguised as boundaries. So we're not going to be skimming the surface here together. We're going to be straight up scuba diving into shifting the way that you vibrate in your very essence and shifting yourself on the deepest, molecular, subconscious, energetic, and spiritual level. I've curated this experience to activate you into the premier league woman that you were designed to be in a society of women who have fallen asleep to their authenticity and their power. And so the shifts I'm going to share with you took me from a decade of spinning my wheels, separated, nearly divorced after absorbing every mainstream modality of healing I could get my hands on, to an unrecognizably authentic and intimate relationship with my husband very quickly. I'm so excited to hear what resonates and see what shifts in you over the course of this immersion. And so let's get it started in the chat. I'd love to hear where you're tuning in from. My team's active. They're going to be active in the chat. If Julie and Denisha could just raise their hands and wave, everybody say hi to Denisha and Julie. They're here for you as we go through these next 2 days together. And I want you to know that I'm personally going to be going through all the messages and questions that are dropped over these next 2 days. So if I don't directly answer your question today, or if Julie isn't able to, I promise tomorrow on day 2, I'll address whatever comes up for you. So who's ready? I love seeing where everyone's from. This is so fun. Welcome all over the world. So key number 1, the real secret behind trust. Why are we building trust? Starts with your ability to trust yourself, both somatically and spiritually, before a focus on anyone else's behavior. So let's define trust first, because we're going to be saying that word a lot. When I say trust, I mean the body's experience of safety that allows the nervous system to rest instead of protect. So with that, can we just normalize for a second why trust feels so rare today? It feels like a rare currency, like at best, and then extinct if we're being real at worst. We've got great tools, but it's very new and has happened very fast. We're ChatGPT, AI generated videos, news reporting, every app out there promising this shortcut to wisdom. So is anyone else out there at this point of complete jaded, like, oh, yes, trust, I remember that. That was something from the time dinosaurs walked the earth. It feels like this ancient artifact. And for some of us, trust can feel like this carrot on a stick, like this candy dangled in front of us that sounds so nice, but we've never been able to really grasp and hold on to it in a lasting way. And honestly, it's not our fault. Trust is not commonly talked about on a level any deeper than a nice idea, a word slapped on a sign at Hobby Lobby, or it's like the word everyone knows in their minds, but rarely feels in their body. So I want to invite you, as the clock's about to strike 11:11, there it is, at least Eastern time, to take a pause. Close your eyes if it feels comfortable and put your hand over your heart. We're going to be doing this intermittently just to help you guys tune back into your body and not get lost in my words. If you want to repeat after me, go ahead and say, I am brave for showing up for me today. Every step I take rebuilds my inner safety. I am supported as I learn and as I heal. With a slow, lazy breath in and a long, extended exhale out, you can gently open your eyes whenever you're ready. I can feel the energy shift even in Zoom. I love this. So, do I have permission to take you deep diving? Drop the word deep if you are ready. You got your scuba masks on. After I decided to create this experience, it was a no-brainer, full body, hell yes, that I had to treat you to a surprise special guest to get this party started. So in a second, I'm actually going to spotlight the one and only Kelly Brock. If you haven't experienced Kelly yet, she only needs 30 minutes to change your life. No pressure, Kel. Kelly's been my personal life-changing, purpose-activating, trust-initiating mentor turned dear friend, and she's been pivotal in my life journey to teach me how to embody this deep, unshakable trust in myself and in my own intuition after a lifetime of self-abandonment. Kelly crashed into my life when I was doing shiny and successful really well on the outside, while everything was burning to the ground behind closed doors. And after unfollowing her, actually, for a whole year on Instagram, because she triggered the fuck out of me on how authentic she is, one day, I don't know why, I decided to refollow her, and I felt this intuitive nudge in my soul, like I am meant to work with her. And so at the time I had this limiting belief, I can't afford to work with Kelly, blah, blah, blah. And she said, Becky, if you know it, like you know it, like you know it, if you know Kelly, that's her choice phrase. that we're meant to partner, you put it on the wall, girl. You tell God every day, I'm coming for her. So that's what I did. Every time her Instagram post would pop up, I'd say under my breath, Kelly, I'm coming for you. And within 2 weeks, I made 7K in my business, which was at the time brand new for me. And it was exactly what it cost to work with her. I said, sign. Okay. Here's the thing. My husband thought I was crazy. I did not have his full support to invest. And so that was very brave of me actually at the time to trust my intuition and to tell him I needed to do this. I can't explain why, it's just a knowing. So that investment changed my life. And if you're a client of mine or in my podcast or Instagram community, you have Kelly to thank as your grandmother, hottest grandmother ever, right? Because without her, I absolutely would not be doing what I'm doing right now. Kelly, I love you. I want you to know you're one of my heroes, but in the most down to earth girl next door way possible. And you're the epitome of self trust and God trust in action. So I trust you with my marriage, my money, my business, my community. And that's why I'm bringing you in. So without further ado, Kelly, take it away.
Hi, I'm so honored to be here and I'm just taking it in. And it's funny that Becky talked about being an expert in relationships. Well, if she's got the most fails when it comes to relationships, I've got the most fails when it comes to trusting myself. And that's why I'm equipped to guide you, to share authentically what the journey really looks like in order to trust ourselves. So I want you to drop in the chat really quickly. And before you respond, I actually want to invite you to close your eyes, hand on your heart. What did you come here to receive? What was your intention for saying yes to this program? And I want you to drop it in the chat. I want you to claim exactly what it is you want as an outcome from being here. Miracle, guidance, healing, peace, self-trust, clarification, relief, pure attachment, to learn to trust again, divine guidance, and a new beginning. Why this is important is because something that I teach is your level of intention is equal to the level of impact. So if you come here and you're like, I'm looking for Becky to fix my marriage, or if you're coming and saying, I want to better understand, my intention is to come here and get the awareness that I don't understand, to have a miracle in my life. No matter what that miracle looks like, I want a secure attachment. No matter how that looks, I just want it. I'm claiming it. Then it will come for you faster than you could have ever imagined had you not declared it. This is really, really important for you to understand because it's not about what you do, it's who you be. It's the energy behind the things that we're doing. Because how many of you would like a fixed marriage? Or how many of you would really actually just love a divine partnership? I don't just want a fixed marriage, I want the marriage. I want the partnership of my freaking dreams. I want to be the woman that is a match for a good man, a man who holds me, is secure. We have trust together. Well, guess who he's going to be attracted to? Only an energetic match to that. Does that make sense? So when we want the outcome, we're like, I want this happy, fulfilled partnership of my dreams. You've got to look, there's two peas in the pod. And this outcome is only a result of who you become first. So I want to tell you just a little bit about my story on why self-trust is my ultimate goal in everything that I'm doing, and especially here. Because for me, I was someone who grew up like Becky. I found myself kind of chasing some really shiny, beautiful, looks like on paper, Instagram worthy accomplishments in my life. Grew a business. I was very successful in a network marketing company. And after I had my second baby, and by the way, when I say successful, free cars, top trips, on a billboard in Times Square, twice representing my company. I was doing it, right? Doing it. And it was like looking on paper, like she's got it all together. And all of a sudden, after my second baby, I found myself manifesting, it happened to me, anxiety and depression. Who's ever had experienced anxiety and depression? Have you ever had it where it's so debilitating? You're like, I don't even know which way is up. I don't even know where to go from this. I can't get out from underneath it. I remember telling my husband, I feel like I'm swimming every day and I can see the shore, but I'm not getting any closer. It's like, it's gray, it's dark, I'm swimming. And that had never happened to me before. And it was at that time that I started seeing all these doctors and they were like, we think you have anxiety and depression. And I was like, no, I don't. I got up every day. I put on my makeup. I was married to the love of my life. I had two beautiful children. I was doing my dream job. Sorry, I think first for a second. I was on paper looking like I had it all. But something inside of me was saying, it's not all right. It's not all right. It's not all right. It's not all right. So I remember going to this counselor and saying, just give me a shot. They all wanted me to go on meds, not against med, but something in me knew this came on me. Maybe I could get it off me. Like, how did this happen? So she started to talk to me about what are my main values. And I said, oh man, God first, family second, my health, my career. And she looked at me and she said, and how do those things show up in your life? And I looked at my hand like this and I went, I do career first, then everything else that really matters to me gets my residue. And it was the first moment that I realized how I was living was out of integrity with what I say matters most to me. Drop a one in the chat if that's ever happened to you. You're like, I say I love these kids. I say I love this man. I say I want these things, but oh my gosh, I'm not doing it. I'm not showing up. So that was the first real moment where I started to pull myself back and like start to become self-aware. Drop it in the chat. Drop a two if you have begun to understand the discomfort of looking at yourself. It's not pretty. You're like, this is my fault? Me? I was sure he was the problem. I was sure my business was the problem. If they would just do the things I needed, it'd work out better. If my husband would just get his shit together, I could relax, right? Like if the kids would stop being so kiddish like and stop driving me crazy, I wouldn't be so anxious and overwhelmed, right? Like I was outsourcing saying if everybody else would just change, then I could be happy. Who's felt that way before? And what was so annoying was when I realized, so my coach, my mentor at the time looked at me and she said, Kelly, okay, I hear you. All these things are happening in your life. And I'm like, I know. I've got a list of all the problems with everything. And if these things would change. And she looked at me and she said, and what if they don't? What if your husband won't change? And what if your kids have needs that make them louder for some reason? I don't know. And what if your business never shifts in the way that you want to? And what if you only have this amount of time? What are you going to do about it? And I felt so defeated. I was like, I don't know. I guess then I have to live with this. I guess this is my life. I guess this is my reality. And that feeling, how many of you have felt that before? That defeated feeling of like, is this it? So this is it? This is what and I got mad. I got mad. I was like, that's not fair. And then she looked at me and she said, then what will you do about it? What will you do about it? And I started realizing that I had choices that I was not taking. I had a voice I wasn't speaking. I had needs I was not recognizing. I had feelings I was not expressing. I had all these things that were coming up that, oh my gosh, you guys, I remember one day, please let me tell you the story. I remember being in the kitchen. I have a 2-year-old that I'm tying her shoes. I'm holding a baby, cold coffee, trying to tie the baby's shoes. And guess where my husband was? Lounging like a little model on the couch, drinking his hot coffee, watching Sports Center in the morning. And I was like, F you. And I looked at him and instead of throwing resentment his way, I looked at him and I said, this is my fault. He acts like that because I never ask. You want to know why I didn't ask, y'all? Because I didn't like the way his nose would flare at me when I'd ask for what I need. You guys know that? It's like the energetic expression of, what? I'm a grown-ass woman and I can't handle him flaring his nose at me. So I'm sweating, I'm stressed, I'm overwhelmed, I'm shouting at the kids, and he's modeling it up on the couch. And I thought, this is my fault. I did this. All of a sudden, I started to realize everything was actually just a result of me not being willing to take my own power back, to ask for what I need, to say what I want. And guess what it is? So I started to say, okay, oh my gosh, okay, I'm going to be brave. What is it that I want? What is it that I need? And I started to say, I'm going to try to ask for this. I'm going to try to be this person. I'm going to try to show up as her. But the very first thing is you have to get clear on what it is you want. How could you ever know how to show up as her if you don't define what it is that you want? So we always have to start with a vision. Because if not, I don't know how to be it. So the first thing is you have to get really clear on what is the version of you, what is the version of your life that you want in order to walk it out. Because the way that your life changes is in tiny, imperceivable shifts. These tiny little moments. My marriage, you guys, my marriage right now is one of the most beautiful partnerships I've ever been in. But tell me, I will tell you about the hell and back, the consistent moments of discomfort where I had to say what I needed to say, or he needed to say what he needed to say. And I needed to be a big girl and be able to handle his feelings back and like not fold and all the things. So we have to first start with a vision. And that vision needs to include your values. What are the things that matter most to you? The things you say you want, we got to start with that vision. So after that, after you get a vision, the second thing is you have to have enough courage to show up as her. And this is not in big moves. I didn't like come to Josh and be like, I'd like to make an announcement. I'm no longer going to act the way I've been acting. It was just like the next moment, Kelly, ask him to put on the kids' shoes. That's it. That's it. That's the rep for today. And I was so uncomfortable and I had anxiety and I can even feel it right now in my throat. I was like, I don't want to do this. I can do it. I can do it. It's no big deal, right? But it was like, no, you want a man who sees that you're holding a lot and he can help. So you got to ask him, right? So I remember when I asked him, I was like, hey, can you help tie Everly's shoes this morning? I'm going to go get my coffee and like pack my bag to get ready to go. And I remember, he looked at me and he said, you can't do that. And I was like, listen, he's not an asshole. He's a good guy. But he was just like sitting on the couch, just being like, you can't do that. And I said, I can, but they're your kids too. I need a little help. And so I'm going to ask for it. And he was like, okay. Guess what he did? He flared his nose. He got up. This was not a miracle story. He wasn't like, my love, I'm so sorry for not seeing you. No, he was like annoyed and he got up and he helped me. And later I said, thank you. That meant a lot. I've been noticing I do all these things and it gets me really anxious and overwhelmed. And I just wanted to ask for your help. Thank you. That was it. That was the end of the encounter, right? So after you get this vision, you're going to be asked to get these opportunities to show up as her. And at the time, so let me just paint a fast picture for you. So I started to rep this version of me out. I started just little small moments. We want them to be these big shifts, but they're not. In order for you to build self-trust within yourself, they are in tiny, imperceivable shifts. I want you to imagine there's a scale. You know, those scales that like weigh things. Every time you make a choice, you put a scale on one side or the other. The version of yourself you really want to be, or the version of yourself you've practiced, you've been programmed, you've been emotionally entrained to be. So every time I wasn't asking, every time I did it, this is my identity. Identity is who you are repeatedly being. Write that down. Who's ever started like working out before and like made it a habit? Raise your hand. Okay. When you first start working out, you're like, I'm not someone who works out. This is so uncomfortable. I don't know where to put my shoes. I don't know what to do. I feel so uncomfortable. But after you do it over time, all of a sudden you're someone who goes, I'm someone who works out. All you did was take from this old identity and put it into this new one. So every day I chose myself with intention based on my vision. Every day that I said, okay, what's this vision of me? How do I show up as her today? That was literally it. You guys want like a real secret to how I changed my life? Here's exactly what I did. I'm gonna like give you some gold. Becky already knows. Julie already knows. I wrote down one day, I want you to take 90 minutes and I want you to write down, if we're talking marriage, all the things, I want you to sit down, a gorgeous cup of your favorite drink, go to a nice coffee shop, get a warm blanket, light a candle, get your crystals, whatever you need to do, you get in the vibe and you write down, in 10 years from now, this is the version I want to be, and you write about her. And you don't just say details, you tell the story of your whole day. I wake up early in the morning and I come downstairs and I've got my Bible and I've got my coffee and I have this warm blanket and I hear my kids coming down and I've spent time with God and I've already moved my body. And my husband, I wrote about this. I said, my husband comes down the stairs and he comes all the way across the room to kiss me because we are still that in love with each other. Like I wrote about the experience of what I wanted to be in. I wrote about my work, everything, my body, my health, everything. And then I took that journal entry and I made it 10 daily I am statement prompts. I said, what 10 affirmations would I need to write down in order for this woman to become true? So I wrote down, I'm an intentional and exceptional wife. We have like an amazing marriage, like the ones that you write books about. Like that's us. I'm an intentional and exceptional mother. I'm a Holy Spirit-led woman and the fruits of him are evident on my life. I have abs. Like I wrote down all these affirmations about if these 10 things were true about me, no doubt my life is a reflection of that. Does this make sense? So guess what I did every single morning? I got up and I rewrote or spoke out those affirmations over myself. Those 10 affirmations every single morning. It was like clockwork. And then my one question after looking at these affirmations, guess what I did? I said, and how will I show up as her today? That's it. My job is just to rep some of these out today. So I worked from home and I remember my husband would leave his frying pan soaking in the sink every single morning. Like he would burn his eggs to the point that they need to be soaked in order to be cleaned. And all day long, formerly, I would look at this pan and just resent him. I would be like, why does he leave this for me every single day? I'm so upset with him, right? But instead, I had just affirmed that morning, I'm an intentional, exceptional wife. And so I looked at that pan and I said, and how would she take care of this pan? Would she leave it there and be like, I'm not doing it? Or would she pick up the pan and say, I love him, I'm grateful for him, and wash the pan? Thank you. An intentional, exceptional wife would just say, how can I serve him? How can I love him? How can I take care of this for him? How can I maybe even be praying for him and hoping he's having a good day while I'm washing the pan? Do you understand? It's the energy about what you do, not what you do. It's the energy, right? The energy of me asking Josh to tie shoes is not about, you better do your freaking part. It was, I need a partner and I'm worth getting support and I'm going to ask for it because I'm worthy of that. And so I'm going to ask and it's okay, right? Do we understand it's not about what you do, it's the energy in which you do something? Now, I would love to say that life changed really quickly, but instead, life got actually a little upsetty. I remember one time Josh and I was like, okay, I'm not going to fight with him anymore. We do this dance. If you guys have not read the book, Dance of Anger, put it on your book list. You are welcome. It will change your life and call you out in the best ways around relationships. Long story short, I remember we used to fight a certain way. And I was like, I'm not going to do this anymore. And I started walking away, going, I think I need a minute to think. And he was like, you think you need a minute to think? Like, and he started following me into other rooms. Like, this is not what we do. But when you step out of your normal patterns, the person you were just dancing with wants to kick you to say, come back into place. I don't know what you're doing. I don't know who you're being. I don't know what's happening here. They get scared because they're used to this, right? We stay in a familiar hell rather than going to a better heaven because that is scary to our nervous system. So we wonder why we keep repeating these things. But this is why you have to consciously know what you want first and then choose it, because that's the only way you ever begin to build trust with yourself. That I am the author of my life. Your husband is not the problem. He may have his own problems. That's two different things. He may have his own problems, but you are asking, inviting in. You are somehow, believe me, I want to say it's all his fault somehow, but you are the author of your own life. And if you don't like something, if you want something, it's your job to get it for yourself. It's your job to claim it. So all these little moments I started stacking together, building trust within myself, going, let me show up as her, right? I started stopping being this version and building the weight of this new version of ourselves. Brene Brown gives this example of like a marble jar. And she talks about the fact that we want to trust people, but trust is something that is built one marble at a time. And so when we go to make moves with our lives right now, you might feel like, I don't even know if I can trust myself because you've not stacked enough marbles in your own jar of going, I can bet on myself. I can trust my feelings. I can trust my dreams and my heart. I can trust my actions and what I want. This might be freaking you out because right now your jar is just empty. And so every day you honor yourself. Every day you build that. You're actually building within your nervous system. I can hear me, bet on me, believe in me. Next day, I can hear me, feel me, believe in me, and bet on me again. And so what ends up happening is within you, you are building this energetic version of yourself that stands stronger in who she is, that believes in herself, that can bet on herself. So I went on, you guys, I ended up leaving that network marketing company because I started creating my vision. And I was like, oh, this isn't it anymore. And I started teaching women how to listen to their intuition, to find their visions in their heart, to build a life that's built around the things that they want most, and to build that. I built a very successful business 2020 to 2023. I mean, sold out courses, renting private islands, creating change for women. It was amazing. And then guess what happened? I had an adrenal crash, not adrenal fatigue, adrenal crash. It's where your entire system stops you. Becky always says it's like actually love from your body. It doesn't feel like love. It was debilitating. I started losing everything because I couldn't hold this big business anymore. And I ended up having to liquidate my entire life in 2023. We sold our dream house on the lake. We sold our cars. I was pregnant 6 months, walking for 6 months of my pregnancy because I had no car. And I had just been renting private islands. Like, talk about crash in my reality. And so this last year, I was pregnant, had a baby. I decided to take time and really heal for about a year and a half. And this last year, I started feeling the pull, like God was saying, it's time. It's time for you to stop hiding. It's time for you to start leading again. And I didn't trust myself. You know, that jar of marbles, it had all spilled out. I was like, you want me to build another business? I already did. I lost it. How many of you feel that way in your marriage? You want me to fix this thing? Look how broken it is. You want me to participate? You want me to trust in myself? I don't. I mess up all the time. I know I'm a part of the problem. I keep being reactive. How many of you feel that way? You go, I'm stuck in my own patterns. How could I ever trust myself again? That was me. I was like, God, how would I ever trust myself with money again? I lost everything. And I didn't even just lose it. I couldn't even see where I was losing it. You know, those big moments where you're like, I'm making a big mistake here. That was not me. I lost it in tiny, imperceivable, energetic shifts. And I lost everything. And it affected my 3 children and my husband and changed our lives. So my jar was freaking empty. So guess what I had to do? There was not some magical person who came and filled my jar for me and told me how amazing I was. It was one little marble at a time that I had to start saying, okay, I want to lead again. What would leading look like? What would be a rep today where I can start encouraging women again? What would be a rep within myself that I can start stacking and believing in myself again? And so I started building my self-trust one little moment at a time. So fast forward to, and this even came down to me investing in myself in coaches and mentors again. I was like, I don't know if I'm going to drop. So September of this year, I ended up going to a business conference called Living Brave Live. And this amazing woman named Amanda Francis was there. And she's the money queen. And guess where all my trauma was? Money. All my distrust, all my lack of integrity, all my loss was with money. And so I'd been building a little bit of trust. I'd been feeling maybe I can bet on myself again, but I wasn't ready to take a big step. And she's standing on stage and I'm literally at the floor. And she goes, I'd love to open it up to question marks or to questions. And my heart started beating in my chest and in my throat and in my bones. And I was like, Kelly, this is your one block for really going for it again. And I was like, okay, I'm going to ask in front of 1,000 women. I was going to ask my own vulnerable question about like, this has happened to me. What do I do? I started passing the mic around. Right when it got in front of me, I saw the host of this event. She went like this. She was like, let's cut it off. And I was like, no, this was my moment. I was going to ask. I was going to like get clear. So they took the mic. They said, we're done with questions. And Amanda Francis said, hey, but if you have a book, any of my books, I'd love to sign it. Line up here at the stage. I was sitting right there. I jumped first in line. I was like, okay, it's still going to happen. This is my moment. I'm going to ask her what I need to do in order to get clear. Well, she comes out and she was like, hey guys, there was 200 people lined up behind me. I was first in line. This was my moment. And she said, you guys, they're moving me downstairs. Meet me in the lobby. And I was like, no, this is the woman who is the GOAT. She is one of the leaders in female empowerment around money. And I was like, this was my shot to ask her. And so something came over me and I looked at her and I yelled across the stage. I said, Amanda. She turned around. She was being escorted by security. And I said, can I walk with you and ask my question? Like, who do I think I am? She's like a very big deal. Like, if you don't know, she's now on Real Housewives of LA or something like that. She's just a very big deal. And I was like, can I ask my question? She looked at me and she said, I respect that. And she said, come on. I hopped across the stage, went with her and walked backstage being escorted by all this security. And she said, what's your question? I said, Amanda, I built a business. I brought my husband home. I was successful and we lost everything. And I said, I know I'm being called to lead again, but my body feels scared. And she looked at me and she said, how did you lose everything? And I said, I had an adrenal crash. And she said, so you had an energetic problem that manifested into a physical problem? And I said, yes. And she said, would you know the signs of burnout if it happened this time? And she said, would you know the signs sooner? And I said, yes. And she said, would you ever let this happen to your children again? And I said, no. And she said, have you learned from this? Has it changed you? And I said, yes. And she just stopped and looked at me and she said, then you're good. You can bet on yourself again. And she continued, I stood right there frozen. She continued to walk. I got a picture with her. She walked away and with her, and my entire body went cold, like freezing cold. And I started to like shake. I was having a physical response to the trauma leaving my body. And that moment changed me because inside I had been feeling that little feeling over and over. You can bet on yourself again. But I didn't know if I could actually trust myself. You can bet on yourself. You can bet on yourself. You can bet on yourself. But I did not know if I could trust myself. And so that moment was so big for me because not only she could have told me anything, you guys, she could have been like, you need to buy my 12 module course to be healed from your money wounds. She looked at me and she said, you can bet on yourself. And what that did for me was it proved to me what I'd been stacking in my jar was real. How many of you know sometimes you just need someone to look at you, straighten your crown, remind you of who you are? But she was not the one who gave me permission. She confirmed my own inner knowing it was time, and that I had stacked enough identity and belief within myself to bet on myself again. Within weeks of that, 2 weeks, within 2 weeks of that, I started showing up differently in my business. Attracted in a $20,000 client who I think she's on here, or she was. She's my dream client. Dream, not kind of like her. I love her. She's amazing. She takes everything I say, uses it, is creating change in the world. She's exactly what I would pray for. She's what I was praying for, but I had to show up as an energetic match to her. Does that make sense? She came after that. Now, I would love to say that I've just continued to, keep calling in all the things. No, guess what I've had to do? Hold my ground. Continue to show up as this new version of myself every single day so that it's stacking even more energetically in me. And guess what also has happened in my world? Because I want to be very honest. There's been a big old void because everyone I used to match with no longer resonates with me. This will happen to you when you begin to believe in yourself. People will be like, what's wrong with Alex? Why is Jana acting like this? Who does Jess think she is? Right? They're all like, I'm used to dancing with you when you were a weak woman and didn't know how to believe in yourself and didn't know how to sense your own needs and didn't know how to ask for them. I really benefited from that. And by the way, they're not always consciously benefiting. They just emotionally were benefiting from it. Right? My husband wasn't a jerk. He was just used to the version of myself that poured out on him and never asked for what I needed. So I have not only started to call in what's right, but I have had to get comfortable believing in myself when there's no evidence that it's working for me. Can we let that land for a second? You will have to say, this is worth it. One of the things I've coined in my community is the strongest woman is the woman who can believe in the void. The strongest woman is the woman who can hold belief in the void. There will be a big open space when you start to clear out the people who are patterned for your wounds. They will leave. Some will leave quietly. Some will leave kicking and screaming. Some will rise, like Becky said, to become an energetic match to you because they go, whoa, I want to grow with you. I think about Julie and Becky. They've been in my community so long. Every single time I've changed, they've gone, where are we going now? They've risen with me. They weren't triggered and going, I guess I'm out. They've been going, hey, I trust me. I trust you. I trust us. Where are we going next? What is this next inflection point? My husband, after those original points of, man, challenge, he changed his entire life. But guess who had to go first? Me. And I didn't go trying to change myself to change me. I had to change myself no matter what happened. Because guess who you are left with in your life? You were born with you and you will die with you. It's it. Listen to me, sisters. You're it in your reality. Your children will outgrow you. Your spouses you cannot control. The world is in chaos, will constantly be evolving. The only sense of security you can ever have is within yourself. And so when you build that inner trust, that inner sense of, know what, I'm worthy of wanting it. And there will be, listen to me, when you get clear on what you want, and you decide to start showing up as her over and over, listen to me when I say this, eyes on me, that future is inevitable for you. When you actually get clear on what you want, and it is from your heart, from your soul, and you go, I'm going to do it. I'm going to go for it. Every single day, as long as it takes, doesn't even matter. It will inevitably become your reality. How good does that feel? And I remember at times going, oh my gosh, what if Josh doesn't end up coming with me? I remember crying to him one day and I was like, Josh, I'm getting clear on what I want. I have all these visions and I don't know what you want. He was like, he has a tattoo on his wrist that says simple. He was very proud that I don't want a lot of things. I'm a simple man. He used to make fun of people who'd be like, you see that quote? If you believe you can, you can. I'm like, do you know what I do for a living? I literally teach people that. He was not a dreamer. He was not ambitious. He was not a world changer. But when I did that 90-minute journaling out my dreams, guess what I dreamed about? That kind of man. I dreamed about a partnership where we were changing the world together, where we were loving each other together. And that was not our reality. He was lounging on the couch watching ESPN, not helping me tie shoes. That's who was my reality at the time that I was defining what I was like, God, if I could want anything, this was the man I would want. This would be the woman I'd want to be. This would be the partnership I'd want to be. We were not a match, but I had to choose every single day, not how do I change him? How do I show up as her? And so every single day I started to stack that internal marbles, those scales, whichever visual is best for you. And I started to believe in myself again. And when you build that sense of belief within yourself, you become less malleable. You become less shakable. You become like truly unshakable because you go, I know what I want. But we have to understand that we have a part to play, and it's the only thing we need to focus on first is believing in ourselves. And so you have to go for the version of yourself that you want to be, regardless of who comes with you. And that means the father of your children. That means the partner that you're with. That means the history. Josh and I have been together since we were 14 and 15. And I remember, I remember telling Becky this. I remember not too long ago, like 2022, 2023, having a moment where I was sobbing in my closet, literally giving him back to God. And I was like, okay, I will come to grips that if me following my soul mission is not with him, okay. And that was devastating to me because I just wanted us, the version of us, but I had to give it back. I had to just say, I can't change him. I can't control him. I can only help myself. You were born with you. You will die with you. And so if I can give you anything today, the best thing I could give you is a deep desire to build energetic self-trust with yourself. Because listen, I love Becky and Julie, but if they turned on me today, my heart would be broken and I would be okay. If the love of my life, my husband, left me, I would be brokenhearted, but I would end up being okay because I can be with myself. And that did not happen in one big swoosh. That didn't happen because I went somewhere and got a healing. It happened every single day. I decided to show up and stack some wins with myself, one little win at a time. That is what I want for you. And listen, like Becky said, there are two results that will happen. Either it will bring up so much, it will change what is right now within your own partnership, that energy gets to be freed to become something new together. Because again, I started changing and Josh was like, what's happening? I was like, I think I want more. Do you want more? I think I want to be with someone who wants more. Honey, it feels scary that you don't want more. And those were the big questions that needed to happen in order for us to decide, do we have a future together or not? So that's one outcome. Or the other outcome is you become okay and you become so happy with yourself that by the time you meet a new partner, they go, who are you? I'm looking for a woman who's sure of herself, a woman who knows what she wants, who tells me her needs so that I can be the man that meets them, right? Or you meet friends who literally go, I asked Becky, I said, what's your intention? Not how can I show up and be me? What's your intention? I love you so much. You know, this partnership thing is beyond marriage. I'm in such a loving, reciprocative relationship with Becky. We literally ask each other what we want and need, and we meet it because we love each other. And she goes, I'm so secure within myself, I can ask for what I need. And I go, I'm so secure with myself, I can. Can you imagine this kind of partnership, y'all? It is only ever a result of where we had to begin here first for your journey with Becky this week. You have to start with yourself. No hack, no strategy, no conversation dialogue would ever matter more than what happens energetically in you. So I want to invite us into a visualization right now. Okay. That's going to help you energetically feel into this. So I want to invite you wherever you are to close your eyes, sit up straight if you can. If it feels really good, you can bring your hand to your heart, your hand to your belly. And let's take a few deep breaths, inhaling through your nose. Exhale, big sigh. Good job. Softer breath, inhale through your nose. Exhale through your mouth. Before we begin this visualization, what I want you to know is I want you to actually just feel your body for a second. Listen, each of you are a creation from something divine. I call it God. You can call it whatever you want. But God loved you so much. God was like, you know what? While she goes and becomes a human, I need to guide her. And God is like, I'm going to guide you through your body. I'm going to send you little sensations. I'm going to send you little visions in your mind. I'm going to send you little words in your head. I'm going to send you little knowings. God is constantly communicating with you through your body. And so in this moment, I want you to just like press your hands into your body and say, I feel you, body. And now let those hands lie soft. And now say to your body, I'm listening, body. and say, tell me what it is you want. Say, tell me what it is you need. Say, I'll get it for us. Say, you can trust me. I'm listening now. Say, you can trust me. I'm listening now. Amazing. In your mind, I want to invite you to imagine that today literally changed the trajectory of your life. That there was a before version of you at 10:59, and the minute it was 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, you changed. Like this 2-day experience literally changed the way you see yourself, your reality, your world, your relationship, and every choice moving forward. And now I want you to imagine we fast forward, and Becky's like, you know what? 11/11/2026, I need a reunion. I'm going to bring back every single woman who was on that call, and we are going to show up and we are going to tell each other about the miracles that have happened this last year. We are going to celebrate how each of these women changed, and we are going to listen like we are sitting on a couch with each other, just gushing, like, you guys, you will not believe it. You will not believe what happened. After those calls, what? I want you to imagine right now, 1 year from now, who you became. I want you to imagine you're showing up on that Zoom, see yourself on the camera, see yourself within that space. If you were to show up as the best version of yourself 1 year from today, who did you become? How does she feel about herself? What qualities is she embodying now? What's happened in her life? If you were to feel into, imagine you telling us about all the things that transpired this last year. What happened? How did you start showing up differently privately within your own self, within your home, within your marriage, within your world? Miracles have manifested a year from now that literally are a result because of the self-trust you built with yourself all year long. Tiny, imperceivable shifts. I want to invite you, if you're not already having your hand on your heart, I want you to bring a smile to your face. I want you to feel how freaking proud of yourself you're going to be next year when you get to talk about all the little moments you stood for yourself. How good does that feel in your body? You're like, I think I like me. I think I believe in me now. I can bet on myself. I like myself. I trust myself now. My entire world has changed for the better because I picked me. Imagining how that's affected your children, your relationship, your work. I want to invite you to just take your fingers and just tap on your heart, feeling how good that feels. Smile on your face. I'm so proud of me. I want you to say that out loud to yourself. I'm so proud of me. I'm so proud of me. Damn it, I'm so proud of me. I'm so proud of me. Think about all that you faced. I'm so proud of me. Think about where you stood your ground. I'm so proud of me. Think about where you loved yourself. I'm so proud of me. Resting your hand on your heart. I want you to feel how good that feels. Taking a deep breath, inhaling through your nose, exhaling through your mouth. Inhaling and opening your eyes when you feel ready. And I want you to just drop an emotion or a word in the chat. What did that feel like for you? What was that experience like for you? Peace, freedom, freeing, empowering, relief, inner knowing, emotional release, peaceful. Ladies, I'm so proud of you. It takes so much courage to begin this journey. It takes so much courage to be willing to see ourselves, flaws and all. It takes so much courage to stop playing victim mode and to say, no matter what's happening in the world or within the people around me, I'm going to choose what I want. And so every single day, you will be given a fresh opportunity. Isn't that so amazing? Let's say you blow it today. You're like, I was on that call and I blew it afterwards. Guess what? You get to stack again. It was never big shifts. It's always tiny, imperceivable moments. So this isn't where we blow it with the brownies and we decide to eat the ice cream and we just blow up our lives. We go, oh, I lost that moment. I put a marble in the wrong jar. Their jar. Next moment, next opportunity I get, I'm going to choose me again. I'm going to choose me again. I'm going to choose me again. And I guarantee you will show up a year from now going, y'all, you'll never believe who I am now. I cannot wait to witness the miracles, the shifts, the lives changed because you chose you. I'm so honored to be here. Becky, thank you for letting me speak today.
Thank you so much, Kelly. Guys, who's so glad I refollowed Kelly on Instagram? Please drop a yes in the chat if you're already experiencing a shift in your being from what Kelly just brought you. Kelly, I love you and thank you. I know you have babies to go to, but we'll talk soon.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.
Don't you just love her? Yes. So, truth moment. I invite you to write this down. The sun shines on all of us. We're all breathing the same air. We've all got the same innate capability to change ourselves, which Kelly just initiated in us so well. We've all got the same capability to change our situation, our relationship, and yes, even if our partner's not on board today with the healing journey. What blocks us is nothing outside of ourselves, and you all just tasted that. It's just all of our specially curated illusions of fear. You know, we just had Halloween, so I was thinking about this and I was thinking how fears are just like trick-or-treaters. They're not real, but they sure can spook you. So our fear or our ego mirages, as I'll call them, they're there to keep us safe, which can be great for temporary danger, but really unhelpful once the danger has passed. So I'm going to share a couple visuals for all my visual learners. I guarantee you're already having moments of connection, tasting glimpses of trust in your life. That's because that's exactly how you were designed. All right, can you all see this? Here we are again, trust shaman, trying again. Just so we're on the same page again, anytime we talk about trust, trust is the body's experience of safety that allows the nervous system to rest instead of protect. So, hand over heart, repeat after me. Trust begins where self-abandonment ends. Fear is a mirage. Love is the only truth. I release the illusion that I must be perfect to trust myself. Okay, so we're gonna get a little nerdy as we have 30 more minutes together today. And what I want to show you first is called the polyvagal ladder. So this is a lot of words. Don't let it overwhelm you. You can just think of it like a traffic light where green means go, traffic is moving and grooving, and then yellow is slow down. There might be a car coming to the intersection, so you want to be cautious. And then red is stop. If you move forward, you will have, an accident. There will be a threat. So when it comes to our nervous system, we can be in any of these states at any given time. And the green is the place that feels good. The green is where we can rest, digest. We're in present mode. We're not in protection mode. And this is where trust can grow. This is where trust can expand. It's when we get into the yellow, the fight or flight, there's either a real or perceived threat, or the freeze that Kelly described as her adrenal crash. It was a complete stop. Her nervous system was like, no, if you won't stop, I will stop you. Those are the places where it feels almost impossible to trust ourselves, to trust other people. We are in that there's a bear in the room mode. And so we're going to be looking for any kind of threat. So this is what I do all day, every day. And coaching women is really helping them get super clear on where they are at any given moment so that they can identify, okay, I'm in fight, I'm in flight, I'm in freeze, I'm in flop or fawn, all the F bombs. And how do I come back home to who I authentically am. A trusting woman, one who trusts herself, who trusts others. I'm calm in connection. My nervous system is settled. My energy is grounded. I have radical self-compassion for all living beings, starting with myself. So let's dive into the biochemistry of trust. When we talk about trust, there's three major hormones that are released in our bodies that help trust grow and deepen. And the first one that we talk about is oxytocin. So, oxytocin is the trust hormone. This is the hormone that helps with social bonding, secure attachment. It's also known as the love hormone. The second is dopamine. This is more like the reward hormone. So, when somebody behaves predictably and reliably, it's actually rewarding. Trust is rewarding. It's the neurons that fire, they reinforce social approach behaviors, meaning it's safe to approach this human. And it's the same exact hormone that's released on addictive drugs, alcohol, drugs, addictions. It's the same hormone that's released when you're in the presence of someone that your system trusts. So anyone who's identified as a codependent can understand this. Like, oh, yes, it's literally like a drug. It feels like I get high off of connection with this person and I'm constantly chasing it. So that's our reward hormone. The last one is vasopressin. And this one is really important, especially for men. It's been studied in male prairie voles, which are monogamous in their species. And this is the longevity, the loyalty hormone. This is the bonding hormone. So it's really critical for men, especially in pair bond formation and selecting trust for the long run. And this is increased by things like shared activities, cuddling, physical touch, sex. That can help increase vasopressin. So I know there's a lot of business owners on this call, and I wanted to give you a metaphor to help you think about this and remember this easy. You can think of oxytocin, the trust hormone, like the HR department. They're all about welcoming you in, building trust and camaraderie across the company. Dopamine is like the reward system, the bonus system. Kelly and I both used to be a part of a network marketing company where she mentioned the free cars, the billboard. They got this down to a science. They knew how to get our dopamine going. So this is like the department that rewards all the good performance and effort. And then vasopressin is like the loyalty program, keeps key clients or partners invested long term. I want to invite you in to a little taste of this. We're gonna take a sip of a little cocktail with vasopressin, dopamine, and oxytocin. And I'm gonna invite you in to taste this for yourself. So if you could get comfortable in a seated position, you're welcome to close your eyes for this. We're going to get high together. We're going to start filling our marble jar again. I'm going to show you how to get high naturally. There's no drugs required. And I'm going to give you this recipe for this brain body cocktail, increasing all of these hormones as your main ingredients. So it'll be free. Go ahead and stretch your body, wiggle your toes, adjust that crown again, flip your hair, get comfortable, feet on the floor. And when you're ready, you can place a hand over your heart, another on your belly, and tune into any sounds in the room around you. Name them under your breath, whatever you hear. Now look around the room. You can gently open your eyes and call out 5 items that you see. Chair, picture frame, whatever you see. Now, try this. Say your name out loud. All you're going to say is, I am Becky. Fill in the blank with your name. And notice what happens in your body when you say that. Now state exactly where you are. I am in my office. Notice any subtle shifts. Now closing your eyes and inhaling slowly, lazily for the count of 4. Hold for the count of 2. And exhale for a count of 6. If you can, go ahead and bring to mind someone you trust or something. It could be a friend, a relative, a pet. Maybe you just bring to mind a moment that you felt safe and connected, or a place where you feel safe. Whether it's real or imagined, notice what comes up. Anything that brings 1 degree of deeper peace. All you're going to do is just think about this and notice what sensations go through your body. As you think about this person or imagine this place or this memory, bring a deep inhale in and then hum on the exhale. Like, as long as you can extend it. This activates the vagus nerve, which increases oxytocin and reduces fear. So, playing with this, continuing these breaths in and the humming out, notice any shifts in temperature in your body. Notice if you feel even 1% more grounded, if your body has settled even a smidge. That's oxytocin. That's like your nervous system's HR department just cracking open the door with this gentle welcome. And like Kelly brought us through, this is how we keep building self-trust again. This is us filling the marble jar. We ease into creating connection in our own body after, for some of us, a lifetime of living in our minds, being so used to rumination, anxiety, future tripping, questioning everything, trying to outthink our thoughts. This is how we rebuild trust in ourselves. It's these micro little moments of how long can I stay with myself, even if it's just for a moment. Okay, then I'll try again later. Now try this if you would like. Gently pat yourself on the back or give yourself a slow clap or offer yourself a tight squeeze, self-hug, just something that feels like a mini celebration. With every clap, tap, squeeze, whisper to yourself, I am showing up. I am learning to trust me. I am tasting deeper safety. Or this little jingle I used to sing to myself that I made up when I was practicing this for the first time is I'd sing, Becky's doing a good job. Becky's doing a good job. Some of my OG clients remember that. So try it with your own name. Just see how it feels. It's gonna feel silly. Now, move your body in just a small, playful way. Maybe rock side to side, lift your arms, roll your shoulders, stick your tongue out, make a funny face, wiggle, shake, and just notice if there's any release in your muscles. Notice if you feel even 1% lighter. Notice if your body has relaxed even a tiny bit. If you noticed even the tiniest of shifts, that's dopamine. That's your bonus system lighting up. It was like Oprah saying, you get a car, you get a car, everybody gets a car. This is big in my Root to Rise program. My clients know we anchor in every little shift because us hyperachievers can skip over the mini, micro, imperceivable shifts. When those are the ones we got to start focusing on. Using our reticular activating system, which we'll get into tomorrow, whatever we focus on, that expands. We start seeing it everywhere. So if we're focused on the problems, we go and get problems. If we focus on the wins, we're going to get more wins. Now, I invite you to take a moment to ask God or whatever word works for you for a word, an image, or a phrase. If it helps you tune in, you can keep your eyes closed and just say, God, what is available for me to know or understand today? Don't second guess, just notice whatever drops in without judgment, without trying to make meaning of it. If nothing comes in, that's totally okay. People who are new to this might get blank slates. It's a practice, totally fine. But if something dropped in, I invite you to drop it in the chat, even if it's super random, like red fire truck, or it's time to trust yourself. Stillness, you're doing the sacred work. Unity, tune into yourself and trust. Visibility, love and being hugged. Softness, love. You're deeply protected. Nature, love this. Okay, now play with me. This will probably feel silly, but can you guys see everyone else on the screen? If you are able to take your camera off for a moment, I'm gonna invite us into a little playful thing that's gonna boost the vasopressin now. So on the count of three, everyone's gonna give a high five to the Zoom screen. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Just high five to each other. Now, everybody hand over your heart. Pat your chest. Okay, now follow me and draw a heart with your fingers. Watch everybody else draw the same heart. Now give a thumbs up. Good job, guys. Okay, so notice again what's happening in your body or what emotions you're experiencing in the moment. If your body has relaxed or if you notice a smile coming on your face or any little shift, that probably felt like kindergarten, but it's backed by neuroscience. When we mirror each other's behavior or emotions or energy, our mirror neurons fire up. And this is why empathy literally builds trust. If you are in the depths of grief and I'm listening to you, but I'm either no emotion, I'm just listening to you like this, or if I'm like smiling really big and you're telling me about how you just lost your pet or something horrific, do you think you're going to feel trust towards me? No. But if you're in the depths of your grief and I step into your world and I feel that with you, maybe help carry it or hold it with you, if my face mirrors back to you the pain that you're holding inside, do you think that you're going to feel trust build? Most likely, yes. So these mirror neurons, when they fire, our bodies will release vasopressin, and that's the bonding hormone that says you're part of the pack. You belong, you're not alone, you've got support, which is how we're all wired to thrive, even the most Beyonce, independent woman of the pack. So similar, if you notice when we all dropped ones in the chat, or Kelly was like, drop a two, like that kind of floods the vasopressin. Like, whoa, we're doing this together. This feels so different than last night when I was crying myself to sleep all by myself. So let's do a little pit stop check-in. We've been together for almost a full hour and a half. We're starting to land this plane. At what points in this past hour did you feel your body soften the most? When did it relax and open and settle the most? Or when did you experience the most self-trust or coherence in your nervous system? Was it when I was talking and teaching? Or when Kelly was talking or teaching? Or was it when you started dropping into your own body, your own breath? Co-regulating with the group, maybe doing the mirror neuron, high five. Drop the word body if it was mostly in the moments that we were with our body, that you felt the most self-trust. Drop the word talk if it was in the moments that it was somebody talking. Cool. Okay. This is awesome. I'm seeing a lot of bodies, some talks as well coming through. It's looking like mostly body. And depending on where we're at, there's a woman on here that I had a session with. She shall not be named, but it was a really intense moment for her. And normally I'll start out with some grounding, dropping into the body. And she stopped me right there. And she was like, nope, I just need to talk. I just need to get it out. Like it's all here. I'm like, okay, we're not going to body. Sometimes going straight to the body is not safe. And so depending on what's happening in your life and your nervous system, one might be more helpful than the other. But typically, when it comes to our nervous system, we all have what's called a vagus nerve. It's the biggest nerve in the whole nervous system. It goes from the base of our skull to the bottom of our spine. And you can think of it like the super highway of information, where chemical messengers are constantly running up and down this vagus nerve from our brain to our body, body to our brain. Typically, all of the things that we try to heal or to develop deeper trust or to repair trust in our marriage, which we're going to get into later tomorrow, is a lot of stuff from the neck up. We try to talk through our issues. We try to, force our partner to couples counseling. We read this book. We listen to this podcast. I can't speak for everyone, but my own experiences, I tried everything from the neck up. Went through a codependency recovery group twice, graduated, went on to sponsor women, and I landed in this position of, oh my God, after all of this, I'm separated and on the verge of divorce. Like, what was all of that for? Why do I feel like after all of this, I'm still spinning my wheels and I've had spurts and tastes and like that candy on a stick kind of teases of trust, but nothing has stuck or lasted until I started to learn somatic healing, which is what we've tapped into today. Any little body exercise we did today are the building blocks, the beginning moments of somatic healing, which soma just means body. Tapping into our body, feeling safe in our nervous system. And that's what took my coding marriage to getting a pulse to healing to now thriving. And that's what has taken women to horrendous situations, dysregulated nervous systems, toxic marriages, to finally adjusting their crown, having enough safety and self-trust and capacity to walk away from something that was no longer serving them. And so this vagus nerve is really showing us that 80% of communication in our nervous system that goes from the body to the brain, when we learn to leverage that 80%, that's where the magic happens. And that's why so many of you notice self-trust building the most in the moments where you were practicing this and tuning into your own breath and your own body. And that doesn't mean we ignore the 20. Like, we still talk, we need to inspire each other, right? It's so helpful to have language, but if we ignore the body, it's not going to get us out of the places where we feel the most stuck. So I want to end with the trustworthy woman archetype. From everything I've lived through so far in life, all 36 years, this is how I would summarize the trustworthy woman archetype, or the Premier League woman. If you guys don't know, I'm a huge soccer fan. Premier League is one of the highest, most competitive leagues in soccer, and is some of the best players and coaches around the world. So this is what I call the Premier League woman, a woman who trusts herself and is trustworthy. She is the woman who has dissolved shame and embodied radical self-acceptance and radical self-compassion, and that oozes out of her on all living beings. It's the woman who feels safe in her body, who has been able to make the green part of the polyvagal ladder, that safety nervous system, the dominant state of her being. And of course, she goes into fight or flight, and of course, there's moments where she needs to do a full hard stop, but she knows how to come back home, and that's her dominant state. It's a woman who has stepped back into her power after situations that have rendered her powerless. She's the woman who has stepped back into this energy of I've got nothing to prove, nothing to posture, no one to please, nothing to protect. It's the woman who's completed grief, which is why so many of us feel a tightness in our chest and in our heart space, and our breath is so tight because grief is held in that heart cavity, that chest cavity. It's the woman who's completed grief so that she's able to give love without losing herself and receive love without blocking it because she's so armored and guarded because of everything that she's been through. It's the woman who embodies her truth, that her insides for once match her outsides. She's not hiding anything. She's not posturing. She's able to speak, communicate, and live out her truth. She's not choking on it. She's not overly expressing it. She knows when to be silent and when to speak with wisdom. And it's the woman who's spiritually connected. Whatever that looks like for you, spiritual alignment, plugged into your source. I tell women all the time that when I found somatic work, it was like getting the best upgrade to my phone, getting the newest, latest, hottest phone. All of a sudden, all the apps were working better. It was going faster. If any of you guys remember the age of dial-up internet, right? It's like, wow, I remember having to wait to connect, and this is amazing. That's what somatic work did in my relationship. Yet, no matter how cool your phone is or how upgraded the apps are, if you don't have a charger, it's eventually going to die. So I noticed that in my own journey where I got this major life upgrade. Somatic healing not only saved my relationship, but it bled into breakthroughs in my parenting, purpose, spirituality, money, all of these other areas. And slowly, subtly, and unconsciously, I started to rely so much on the tools because they worked so much better than anything else I had ever tried in my whole life. And unintentionally forgetting to connect to the source. For me, I say God. For you, insert whatever. But this is huge now with my clients. I tell them, I'm going to give you the biggest toolbox. You're going to be so well resourced. But at the end of the day, remember, you have to make sure that you're plugged in spiritually. And whatever that looks like for you, for me, it's my morning practice of prayer walks. It's getting colder now, so it's a lot more journaling. I like reading my Bible, just in moments throughout the day, being able to stop, pause, see signs. If any of you guys saw all the signs I had, the 11:11s leading up to the masterclass, the spiritual connection is absolutely vital. So, thank you for showing up today for yourself. I'm going to end with one short story, and then I can't wait to gather again tomorrow. But this is a story about a little goose. So once there was a goose flying south who got completely lost. Panicking, she hired a therapist who said, "Let's unpack your childhood migration patterns." Then she listened to a podcast called Unlock Your Inner Wingspan. Then she read a book called Flying for Dummies twice. Then she asked ChatGPT and it told her, "Okay, little goose, first deep breaths. Would you like me to create a morning mantra or visualization for you?" So she tried it all with all her goosey little heart, yet years later she was still stuck and she felt more lost than ever. She couldn't figure out how to fly south. So she started questioning everything. Am I even cut out to fly anymore? Maybe I lost my wings for good and I'll just be here alone forever. Who would even want me to fly with them after all the mistakes I've made? Did I waste all that time trying? Should I just be more grateful for this ground level view? Then at the final hour, just as the goose was about to quit, a fellow goose flew by, confident, calm, already soaring, and said, "Girl, you know you can just flap, right?" And so she did. And boom, she caught the current and she found her way. So, moral of the story and summary of today is I am so happy to pour into you. And so much about what Kelly shared and who she is to me and what she even shared about Amanda Francis. She could have told her to take her 12-step course. The right guide doesn't fly for you and point you to their blueprint. They remind you of who you freaking are, that you were born to fly, that everything you need is already built in. And so that's now my litmus test for who I attach myself to. Anyone who speaks into my life, I got to make sure they're not trying to rewrite me or turn me into them. They're really pointing me back to myself, not offering me all their unsolicited advice, but helping me tune into the wisdom of my own intuition. So I'm going to leave you with some homework for tonight, reiterating what Kelly invited you into. Describe in detail, journal this tonight, the woman that you want to be 10 years from now. Then turn that into 10 affirmations that you would need to declare for that to be true. I'm an intentional, exceptional wife. I'm a present and connected mother. I have abs, whatever. Speak them over yourself after you write them, and then ask, how will I show up as her today? Have a great rest of your day. We'll see you soon. Love you all.